Hello, my name is Jessica Lorena Roa. I'm a student of Master of Applied Artificial Intelligence, and today I'm going to talk about the account management system. During the solution of this program, I'm going to show how the key principle of object-oriented programming, like abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism, were implemented in the solution. So the idea was to create a program in which the user can add an account, can add one or more accounts, can withdraw or deposit in any of those accounts, can transfer from one account to another account, can print. In this case, we will print the whole transaction done. Can print the transaction. In this case, we'll print the last transaction done. And finally, can quit. Okay, so for this solution, we implemented some classes. We have the main program, we have the bank class, the transfer transaction class, deposit transaction class, withdraw transaction class, and finally we have the abstract class transaction. Okay, so let's see how each class was implemented in the solution. So personal, we start with bank class. The bank class play the role of the bank in which the accounts and transactions are managed. So first of all, we can see here the concept of encapsulation. We can see it in all the classes, but I'm going to explain here. So encapsulation has as the word say, encapsulate the fields and methods of the class inside the class. So the purpose of this is to keep the information inside the class to prevent from the classes outside. So that's why we have here the fields. The fields are private, so they can only be used inside the class, the bank class. And we had the methods here. We had add account method, get account method, execute transaction, and transaction history. So this information can be only used inside this class, and the information can only be accessed through a public interface, that is the objects method. Okay, so we have now deposit transaction and withdraw transaction. Both are pretty much similar. The only difference is from deposit transaction, we want to put money into the account, and in withdraw transaction, we just want to take off money from the account. But the structure are pretty similar to each other. So I'm going to show the example with deposit transaction. So here I'm going to talk about another key principle, which is inheritance. The main goal of this is the reusability. So instead of write again and again the same code, we just we just use the inheritance. We inherit the properties of one class into another class. So in a few words, this looks like this. So we can, from one class or more classes, child classes, they can receive fields and methods from a common parent. So we had here transaction, which is the parent class. And we now here deposit transaction, withdraw transaction, and transfer transaction. They will be the child class. So when I write the code for this transaction, deposit transaction, so we have the public class deposit transaction, which is the child class, inherited to transaction, which is the parent class. So now here it's something important that we can see. We had some methods. The method is execute, rollback, and print. So there is something important here. Those methods are override. So when we want to override, we want to provide a new version of a method inherited from a parent class. So we now know that this is a child class inherited from transaction class, which is a parent class. And for override this method, we need that the method inherited must be virtual for an abstract class. So if we see here the transaction class, which is the parent class, we have an abstract class transaction. And the same methods that we are using in the child class, print, execute, and rollback, are public virtual void methods. So in this case, we now can override those methods in our child class. So finally, we have the transfer transaction, which is pretty much similar to withdraw transaction and deposit transaction. Just in this case, we add some more fields because we need to know from which account we want to transfer to which account. So the rest is pretty similar. We have the override methods, execute, rollback, and print methods. Okay, and we just know that transaction is the parent class. We had here the virtual method that we use in our child class. So now let's move to the program class. So here we just set the menu option in which the user will have the list of options to choose. Choose that add account, withdraw, deposit, transfer, print transaction, and quick. In the main method, we just set all of these options, and we display, when we run the program, we just display the menu option, and the user will be able to choose one of those. So here we have the methods are do add account, um, find account. Just recall in the bank class we had a method called add account and get account. So here we just calling those, we are passing those methods into the program. So when the user choose add account, the first option, the program will ask to enter the name of the account and the opening the opening balance. So when this information is provided, so the account is it's created. So here we had another method which is do withdraw. Will allow to withdraw from the account that the user choose and the amount the user choose. Similar to deposit, do deposit and do transfer. Here they need to choose two accounts from which account they want to deposit to which account. And finally, print. So let's see how this works. Just a little bit. Just do two movements. So first, choose add account. So the name of the account will be Jessica. And the opening balance will be $6,000. Okay, so now we just do deposit print to the same account. And I want to deposit 400. Okay, all the options are, so we had here add account, withdraw, deposit, transfer, print transaction. So let's see how this print the last transaction. So here we have the transaction printed, what was the movement we did, and that's all.